This story comes to us from NBCBayArea.com. 4 officers with the San Jose Police Department are facing termination. Detective Ishmael Lemus was arrested last year on charges of using a retired patrol car as his personal vehicle without permission. Police sources with direct knowledge of the situation said he is one of the 4 officers who would face termination papers this week. A second officer is accused of running the license plate of a woman he met at a community event and then later showing up at her door. Talk about creeper. Jeepers, creepers. Hey, that cop's a peeper. The last 2 officers responded to a domestic violence call and left without making any arrests, sources said. They are facing potential termination because the suspect in that case returned later in the evening and killed the victim. And if they'd have made an arrest, she'd be alive today. The officers are entitled to what's called a Skelly hearing, disciplinary hearing before formal termination. The San Jose Police Department did not comment, saying it doesn't speak on ongoing personnel matters. But when they're cops, when it's an ongoing civilian matter, of course you speak. Retired San Jose police officer Michael Leninger said, "I've watched San Jose PD sadly become deeply involved in a negative spiral, and it's going to take some time to pull out of this spiral. It's going to take a long time because, look at Loveland, Colorado. When Karen Garner got severely tortured, so to speak, remember what the police chief said? We don't accept this. We will hold our officers accountable. We are cleaning up our police department." And now you get a cop that smacks a woman and then punches a woman. He didn't smack her. I'm not going to open that can of worms again. But point is, you're never going to pull out of the spiral that police departments are in. Law enforcement agencies are always going to have that one dude or those 2 dudes or girls or whoever, those cops that do wrong. They're always going to have it. Why? Because every other cop tries to justify for it. Even when cops do complain, and let's say the guy gets fired or the woman gets fired, they'd be a cop somewhere else down the road. You're going to have to start pulling police certifications on these officers that are terminated. Pulling their certification. No, you're not going nowhere else to be a cop. That's what you need to start doing. That's called weeding them out. All you're doing is pulling the weed out and replanting it in someone else's garden. You need to pull that thing out and burn it, so to speak. In other words, burn their certification. No, you can't be a cop in this state anymore. I digress. Lindinger watched a series of firings last year and worries what the latest action will mean for an already short-staffed department and its morale. Get rid of the bad cops. He said, "I see this as a tremendous problem, not only with the San Jose Police Department, with national issues, with recruitment and retainment. It's a problem." He said, serious problem. On the positive side, Lindinger said it's good that the department is demonstrating a willingness to hold its officers accountable. If you really want to hold them accountable, you'll pull their certification. But more bad news could be on the way. Officer Dijon Parker died of a fentanyl overdose last year at his Milpitas home. Can't talk. And they have now delivered their file to the district attorney for possible prosecution, but a former prosecutor said that could bring up new questions for the department he worked for. Bay Area legal analyst Stephen Clark said, "This is a very big development. With the new prosecutorial focus on fentanyl, they are throwing the book at drug dealers who are supplying it, because they're calling it homicide, whether it's manslaughter or murder." Police sources said Packer was with fellow San Jose police officers the night he died. Was he doing fentanyl with them? And if so, what was they? Stephen Clark, the legal analyst, said, "I think the question will be, can they track the fentanyl to an individual and who else was there?" Bingo. He said, who else witnessed the ingestion of the fentanyl will be very key here. The district attorney's office said it doesn't talk about the cases it may or may not be investigating because they don't want to throw their hand. They pull a Bill Belichick. So was Brady ready to go on Sunday? He's been practicing. Bill Belichick. Anyway, that's it. So these four cops though are facing termination, but they're going to have to go through this Skelly hearing. What do you think the record's going to be on terminating these four officers? Are they going to terminate 1, 2, 3, or all four? Pick a number.